Prepare your ears for unsubstantiated claims.
It was on the tip of everyone's tongue. Tyler and I just gave it a name.
Prepare brains for imminent atrophy.
You are a disgusting slob!
You are now entering the realm of Ty and Slob, now in syndication.
And welcome to the Podcast League. I'm Ty, he's Slob, and this is now in syndication with Ty and Slob. We're going to go ahead and break down a lot of things here with this draft. We have some dumpster diving to talk about, some trades that already happened, an injury report, and then, of course, our B-Dubs bets, the predictions for each week. So, Slob, how do you want to start? What do you want to do?
I guess just a general overview of the draft.
Okay.
Probably be a good way to start. Most specifically, your draft.
Well, let's pick on others before we get to me.
Okay,
Let's pick
fine.
on
You want to work your way up?
Who specifically do you want to target? Because according to our draft rankings here, the power rankings has Summers Paul at number 10 because he, I guess, fell off a bridge and auto-drafted somehow. He was 8 minutes away in town evacuating Hurricane Harvey, and he didn't draft. I guess he had no idea the draft was when it was. So Paul's number 10, Eric at number 9, Piero number 8, which is surprising. That is very surprising. He's been good in past years. Preston at number 7, AB number 6, I'm at number 5, Reagan number 4, Slob number 3, Brett number 2, and Trenton at number 1.
I think me and Piero probably slipped a little bit because we've made some roster moves since that was made.
Right.
I probably dropped a little bit. My running backs are kind of thin now. Part of me kind of regrets that trade, really. The Dalvin Cook for Aaron Rodgers trade.
You don't know what Dalvin Cook is going to do. He's the lead back in Minnesota, but there's still Jerick McKinnon out there, and they just got Latavius Murray from Oakland. So Dalvin Cook's really an unknown commodity because he just got drafted. He's a rookie. You got Devontae Freeman and Kareem Hunt, RB1 and 2, and Darren McFadden at the flex. So
Kareem Hunt was kind of part of my decision-making process, too, because I don't want to have two rookie running backs. I like both those guys. I'm pretty high on Dalvin Cook. I just really, I can't have two rookie running backs. And I do this myself every year. I basically have this zero QB philosophy where I sit and wait on QBs. And I was expecting that I could wait and grab maybe a Kirk Cousins or something.
Now, the way fantasy is now, especially in non-PPR, is quarterbacks, decent quality quarterbacks can be found in later rounds, right?
Yeah. So I like to just load up at skill positions and then grab a quarterback late. But this always happens to me. I wait too late and then I end up with Ben Roethlisberger, who I don't know why I get doped into this every single year where some expert somewhere will say some bold prediction about Big Ben Roethlisberger having a career year. I'll buy into it, take him in the 12th round, and then immediately regret it. The guy's only startable 7 games a year, whereas Aaron Rodgers, he frees up a bench spot. Yeah. I can take Aaron Rodgers. I don't even need a backup for him. He's so damn good. What am I going to do? Get tricky and bench Aaron Rodgers and play Carson Wentz or something? Forget it.
He plays every game, too.
He doesn't get hurt because he is the franchise player. The whole city of Green Bay, Wisconsin has dedicated all their resources to protecting this guy.
Yeah.
It's nice. I never have a premium quarterback, and I wanted one, and now I got one. I just really hope Dalvin Cook isn't the next Adrian Peterson.
It's interesting. So we're going to break down the trade, as we go along and kind of look at people's drafts. But he was drafted, Aaron Rodgers, 32nd overall, 4th round by the Golden Tate Warriors. And then he was traded, Aaron Rodgers and Paul Perkins, running back for New York Giants. Great name, by the way, Paul Perkins. And you gave up Big Ben and Dalvin Cook. So the fact that I fell asleep in a draft the other night in a different league, and I woke up with Ben Roethlisberger on my roster. There's a rape joke somewhere in there, I'm sure. But, I mean, the fact you gave up a rookie and Big Ben and you got Aaron Rodgers in a piece of trash in return, you still got Aaron Rodgers.
Perkins isn't trash. Like, Perkins was, I think, a 8th or 9th round pick. I mean, he's going to be the lead back. He is a starting running back in the NFL.
If you look at unknown commodity for unknown commodity, Dalvin Cook, Paul Perkins, wouldn't you say that's fair?
I think actually you know a little bit more what you're going to get out of Paul Perkins. He's a second-year back, and what you're going to get is a pretty low ceiling. I don't see Paul Perkins shattering the earth this year, whereas Dalvin Cook has that upside.
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook could be RB1
There's
there.
a ceiling for Dalvin Cook, even though he does have a bit of a running back by committee and Sam Bradford at quarterback. But you got Aaron Rodgers in this trade, and that's the win.
Yeah, I mean,
without giving up really too much.
I don't know. I think giving up, we'll see. But Dalvin Cook could be really good this year. I've definitely had some second thoughts about it because now my running back situation is a little slim. Paul Perkins is now officially my 3rd best running back. I'm not particularly excited about that. I got Jeremy Hill because as of now, Jeremy Hill is the starter. He's gotten all the first team reps in preseason. As high as everyone is on Mixon, and I love the kid, but I just don't see him really.
Answer me this, okay? What about the Patriots defense do you like? Is it the fact that they're playing Kansas City, so you got your RB2 playing your defense? And B, why is Tyler Eifert not starting ahead of Jimmy Graham? Eifert, when healthy, kind of like a Jordan Reed, may not play, may have injuries, but when he's healthy and when he's active, when he's playing, he's productive. Jimmy Graham, I feel, has been misused in Seattle, not really been what he was in New Orleans.
My lineup as of today isn't final. I can say that. Like, I
think anyone's lineup isn't ready until 11:59 a.m. Central Standard Time.
So, in all likelihood, Tyler Eifert will be starting, and who knows? I might even cut the Patriots. I don't care. I'm not in love with the Patriots. So.
What about Allen Robinson? You got Allen Robinson. Blake Bortles looks like that absolute trash.
Click on him. I got him late. I got him like in the 60s, I think. Does it say when I drafted him?
Okay. Yeah. Under the transactions tab, you got him 53rd overall.
53. I think that's
6th round.
That's pretty good value right there. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't think he's going to replicate 2015 numbers when he was, I think, top. He was like number 6.
But when Blake Bortles was playing good. That's what I'm saying. Bortles is not looking good right now.
There's kind of much ado about nothing about that. I think one thing isn't going to change about the Jaguars. I think they're going to play games from behind. I'm not buying that their defense is all of a sudden much better. And I'm not buying that Leonard Fournette's going to come in there and just be a bell cow and all of a sudden they're going to turn into the Tennessee Titans overnight. I think they're going to play games from behind and they're going to air it out. I think he's going to have a decent year. It won't be as bad as last year and it won't be as good as 2015, but certainly I think taking him at 53 is good value.
But the thing is, Jacksonville did improve their defense as far as their front 7, but secondary-wise, it's still trash. You might as well have parking cones out there guarding wide receivers.
Okay, well, let's get into someone else's draft, and we'll finish with yours.
Oh, fine.
We spent a lot of time on it.
I know. I don't want to be too self-indulgent here. I think that let's go ahead and look at Trenton's team, and because he was, according to the power rankings, listed as number 1. Kirk Cousins at quarterback.
Not bad
Can't
at
go
all.
wrong, and you can definitely get him in later rounds. And I believe he got him in the 7th round, 65th overall. So that's good value. You see, everyone always starts out, and this is basic knowledge. It's running backs and wide receivers. Skill players first, get your quarterbacks later. LaShawn McCoy, Leonard Fournette, and Robert Kelly. That's your RB1, 2, and flex right there.
I don't have a problem with any of that.
Michael Thomas from New Orleans at wide receiver 1, DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver 2. Hopkins, we don't know how he's going to do with Tom Savage. We don't. And Michael Thomas, the ball gets spread around a lot in New Orleans. How was he put at number 1?
Michael Thomas could be a beast. And here's the thing, like, all right, his starting lineup isn't wowing me, but look at his depth. I mean, he's got Willie Snead, he's got Jameis Winston, Jack Doyle, Marvin Jones. He's got a good amount of depth. I think people are really high on Michael Thomas. See where he took him? That was probably a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick for him.
16th, second round.
Ooh, that's That's reaching, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of people.
You think that was too early?
I personally do, but I think there's plenty of people that would say that's about right. I mean, he's the guy. Brandon Cooks is gone. He's supposed to be the number one receiver there. So
And Willie Snead is suspended, so at least for those first 3 games, Michael Thomas could have a pretty good start to the season.
Having both of them is a little odd, I guess. Maybe you could sort of treat it like a handcuff. Pierre Garçon, I think, was really good value for where he got him. Eddie Lacy, I don't really want to roster him, and to be honest, I don't know who Corey Davis is. I'm gonna go ahead and admit
Tennessee
that now.
wide receiver.
No idea.
He does have Travis Kelce, so he has a tight end 1, and he has Texans defense, which is I'm biased. I'm a bit of a homer being a Texans fan. Texans D is going to be good, and they're playing Jacksonville week 1 in Houston after the big hurricane. So I kind of feel bad for the Jacksonville offense, which is I wouldn't start anybody on. I wouldn't start Leonard Fournette. Maybe Leonard Fournette. I've gotten in traps before where I wouldn't start running backs against the Texans defense because of my biasness, and I learned the hard way with DeMarco Murray last year.
Biasness.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Overall, I like Trenton's team quite a bit.
Yeah. Do you think Leonard Fournette's gonna produce?
I mean, as far as rookie running backs go, he's every bit as likely to produce as Dalvin Cook or Kareem Hunt. I mean, there's a lot of rookie running backs this year, and yeah, he could have a great year.
So we're going to go on to B-Dub's team, and he is saved by Odell. Very original. Drew Brees at quarterback, Odell wide receiver 1, Mike Evans wide receiver 2. So he has a very strong wide receiver crew.
Yeah.
All right, but Isaiah Crowell and Carlos Hyde RB1 and RB2. I don't. Was Crowell really worth anything last year? Was he an RB1 last year?
Everybody loves him all of a sudden, and I guess I have no idea why, but I haven't really researched why.
You got a rookie quarterback, Deshaun Kaiser. So when you have a rookie quarterback, you're going to be running the ball a lot more. It is Cleveland. Don't forget this. Like, they're probably going to get behind in games. They released Joe Hayden, their veteran cornerback, who signed with the Steelers. Carlos Hyde has been worthless. I haven't. He's too spotty.
I feel like 2 years in a row you've rostered him and gotten very little.
And I always have to get rid of him early too. So if Carlos Hyde, for anybody, shows some like brief success at the beginning, don't be afraid to sell high on him and fill a need in your team because he's a flex at the best. He has Kyle Rudolph and Stephon Diggs at his flex. He does have Adrian Peterson and Jonathan Stewart on his bench. Tyrod, which I wouldn't roster Tyrod.
Martavis Bryant, Thomas Rawls. I mean, actually, even Mark Ingram is rosterable. We'll see how that season goes. We'll see how Adrian Peterson pans out and Kamara.
So he has Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram both from New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean he's.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Back to Isaiah Crowell. I think he can play and have a good season if Deshaun Kaiser, has a good season as a rookie. But once again, Cleveland defense, you could see the run game being abandoned very quickly.
Yeah, I just realized. You're right. He's got Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram, so he's kind of, I guess, just investing in that backfield in general.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if someone went out and grabbed Kamara, and Kamara ended up being the lead back. Because you never know. That's what I'm hearing. This Kamara is
that would drive me nuts if I had both those running backs, because if I'm constantly questioning myself, which one do I start? And do you really commit and start both of them? That would drive me nuts. I want to know, like, I would try to get rid of one of those guys and stick with one.
It'll be clear who's really going to...
He could be stashing them just to see which one takes off and drop the other.
That's kind of what I would think, or really there might be a lead back type of thing. I don't know that you're going to be painting yourself to figure out who to start from week to week. What else we got? Let's try and run through these a little faster.
Yeah, okay. All right.
If we're going to try and do everyone.
There's so much to... we're going to go to Reagan.
And what the hell? Golden Slate win? What does that even mean? What is that? What the hell is he talking about?
I have no idea.
I don't get it.
He has Brady, Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount, Michael Crabtree, Kelvin Benjamin, Rob Gronkowski, C.J. Anderson, Seahawks D, Matt Bryant. Not a lot of depth on the...
He's got Frank Gore. Randall Cobb's maybe a little bit of a flyer.
Some people are starting Frank Gore with Tulsi and starting week 1. May want to start Frank Gore, and that just the first week. But we don't know
actually
how
like his depth just fine. It's just, why in the hell does he have 2 kickers? What is going on here? This is like a capital offense. What are you doing, Reagan? You have 2 kickers right now.
In the 16th round, he took another kicker.
Are you out of your freaking mind?
Even that's too soon.
Like, I can almost get just sort of having a brain fart, and it was late at night, and maybe you were a little drunk, and you accidentally take 2 kickers, but you've had several days to sober up and realize you have 2 kickers on your roster. Overall, I like a lot of his team, actually.
All right, we're going to go to Team McDonald Preston, who I guess refuses to change his name. Matthew Stafford, Le'Veon Bell, Amir Abdullah, Amari Cooper, Larry Fitzgerald, Delaney Walker at tight end, Devontae Adams at the flex, Jaguars D at the starting against Houston. Okay, and Matt Prater, but he does have Zeke on the bench. Could you imagine? Matthew Stafford just got a big paycheck. Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, right there at your top.
I don't know about Matthew Stafford. I couldn't care less about his paycheck. I'll tell you, the Zeke-Le'Veon combo makes him a dark horse to win the championship.
Amari Cooper,
it really
wide receiver
does.
1, Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver 2. So I think that he may be a little top-heavy when you compare running backs to receivers, though. Because Amari has 11 touchdown passes, or catches in 2 seasons. So he's not really – if he doesn't score a lot. And we don't know if that's going to change with
He
Derek
still puts
Carr.
up good numbers. Click on him. I'm pretty sure he was top 10 or something last year.
You can see it was very spotty. It was 10. It was 11 or 12. A few 2s and 3s.
some
It really
20s.
fell off. Yeah, but look at the touchdown. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns.
Where did he get him at?
Where did he score the touchdowns?
No, where did he draft him at?
Oh,
Like,
Amari
what
Cooper's
spot?
22nd.
Oh, that's, yeah.
3rd round.
That's too early. That's too early.
And, I mean, Larry...
Not by a lot.
Larry Fitzgerald was 39th, 4th round.
That's...
What is with the Jaguars' defense? That's kind of interesting.
They're supposed to be good this year. That's the word
They
on
have,
the
a,
street.
they have a good front 7, but their secondary is still trash. So we'll see if that actually... They are playing Houston with Tom Savage, who knows, he could probably shit the bed in the first game. Wouldn't be surprised. We're going to go to Piero's team.
There's no rhyme or reason the way that you're picking these.
No, not at all.
All right.
I've ignored...
I'm watching you pick them here.
I've kind of ignored the pre-draft.
Also, before we get into this, something about Preston's team. Preston, name your team. I'm sick of teams being called Team Such and Such. It's fucking annoying.
And
Stop it.
Same thing with Trenton.
Stop it.
Don't be that guy. Just don't. Eli Manning for H-Stein Dine for Piero. Eli Manning, Melvin Gordon, Jaquez Rogers, Jordy Nelson, Terrell Pryor, Martellus Bennett, Demarius Thomas, Steelers D, Adam Vinatieri.
I personally don't like any of his starting line. I genuinely don't. I don't like Melvin Gordon. I think he's not good at being a running back. He just gets a lot of touches.
Is Jordy Nelson worth a 7th overall first-round pick?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I don't know. It's another one of these guys that I've always just hated for my own personal reasons and who normally exceeds my own expectations. I've been proven wrong about him. I'm not a big Jordy guy. No, I'm not a big Melvin Gordon guy. I'm not a Jordy Nelson guy. I'm not a Jaquez Rogers guy.
Up until the point Melvin Gordon got hurt, he was putting up pretty decent numbers last year, and last year was his best year. He didn't do great his rookie season, but last year he
puts up
looked good.
fantasy numbers, but when you look at like the advanced stats, he has abysmal yards per carry. It's just he just gets a lot of goal line touches.
Fantasy football though,
But what I'm saying is it's sort of fluky. It's like when I look at his production last year and I compare it to his yards per carry average, I say that was fluky. I say a guy that gets that many touchdowns and that many yards and averages like this many yards per carry and like he had the worst yards after contact. These are sort of things that don't bode well for me going forward. It makes last season feel fluky and it makes me want to avoid him. Jaquez Rogers is kind of similar. He's a guy that he put up really good numbers when Doug Martin was out, but that's because they just kept feeding him. He actually, if you look at the advanced statistics, I mean, they'd give him the ball like 29 times and he'd get like 104 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. And 104 yards and a touchdown is a great fantasy outing, but it's like, if it took you 29 tries to get those numbers, you're not really that good and you're putting yourself at a high injury risk.
I see your point. Do you think Doug Martin's going to have a good year when he gets off suspension?
Is no telling. There's absolutely no telling because he wasn't having that good of a year before he got hurt last year.
Right.
He was drafted really high, and he was very disappointing, and then he got hurt. Who's to say he's going to come back and be anything? This might be Jaquez Rogers' backfield. I'm just not convinced either of those guys are extremely talented running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Terrell Pryor, like literally what was funny is when me and Piero have developed a little bit of a rivalry over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And when I figured out he was drafting right before me, I was definitely afraid, like, dude, he's going to be sniping all the guys I'm targeting. Like, that sneaky little son of a bitch. I'm looking at his starting lineup. None of these guys I was targeting. Yeah. Like, I didn't have my eyes on any of them. And not once in the draft did I have my eye on someone and Piero sniped him. I was really shocked by that.
Well, I do like I like Terrell Pryor Sr. Because when he was in Cleveland, he didn't really have a quarterback. Now he has Kirk Cousins. So he may actually see an influx, actually better than wide receiver 2. He was a decent wide receiver 2 last year with pick a name. That was the quarterback last year, like he actually put up pretty decent numbers. The last one before we get to mine.
Is it?
Well, we haven't done Eric.
Yeah, we haven't done.
Okay, we'll do Eric next.
Wanna be a baller? What the hell is that?
You got Paul Wall though. It's time hold on.
He's got Paul Wall on his team.
Flex is empty. So Dak Prescott, David
clever.
Johnson, Lamar Miller, Doug Baldwin, Emmanuel Sanders, Zach Ertz, Vikings D, Will Lutz. So I like his running backs, David Johnson, Lamar Miller. Although, if Lamar Miller gets gassed,
Lamar Miller has to be handcuffed. You sniped his handcuff. Maybe we could get him in and make this a 5-way handcuff trade, and you could give him Lamar Miller.
If you can orchestrate
you could give
that,
him Dante Freeman.
It would be good. Yeah, it's Deontay Foreman. Freeman is on.
Oh yeah,
Atlanta.
I mix them. I said Deontay Freeman.
There's Devontae Freeman and then Deontay Foreman. Jesus. But, I mean, it's pretty decent. Doug Baldwin, Emmanuel Sanders, I'm not really sold on that backfield. Or on those wide receivers. But with he does have Zach Ertz, Vikings D, Will Lutz, and he does have a little bit of a depth here. Kenny Britt is the number 1 receiver in Cleveland, though. But that all depends on Kaiser. He has James White and Chris Hogan and Mike Gillislee. So he has 3 New England running backs. Like, you could start them, you wouldn't know which one to
Chris Hogan's
start.
a wide receiver.
Oh, he is? Well,
Yeah.
he can also line up. He's one of those scat backs that can line up at wide receiver or running back. And that New England loves that. They love these little guys. Who, Chris Hogan? Yeah. That was a 140th overall, 14th round. Okay. So James White, Chris Hogan, I don't know why he has, the entire New England backfield on his bench. Because you couldn't start 2 of them, and you wouldn't know which one to start. It's like any one of those guys is like, shit, I need someone to start this week. Go with this guy.
There's also, what's his name? Dion Lewis, I think.
Yeah, Dion Lewis.
And Rex Burkhead. I mean,
No
one knows what the hell's going to happen
all
there.
of those players, and this is so interesting how all those players kind of have the same characteristics. Undersized, you're not going to run these guys a lot through in between the tackles. They're small running backs that can line up at receiver. So I can't believe New England keeps finding players like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like his depth. I'm not big on Doug Baldwin. I know a lot of people are. I'm curious to see where he got him because I feel like people have been overpaying for Doug Baldwin.
Wide receiver 121st overall in the 3rd round.
That's not a pick I would have made.
I think it probably would have been best receiver available because David Johnson came back with Lamar Miller and then had to go right to Doug Baldwin.
To grab Lamar Miller and to not get his handcuff. See, not all handcuffs are created equal. You know, I like getting guys with high value handcuffs and getting those high value handcuffs.
Right.
So, for example, Derrick Henry is probably the highest value handcuff you can have because not only will he get the starting job if what's your guy's name? DeMarco Murray. If DeMarco Murray goes down, not only will he get the starting job, he'll be really good at it because he's extremely talented and has a very similar skill set. And he could be a guy that's going to be getting you 17 points a week and stuff if DeMarco Murray goes down. That makes him a really high-value handcuff. To me, Donta Foreman is a really high-value handcuff because Lamar Miller gets lots of volume, and he also tends to be a little injury-prone.
Well, he gets gassed, and that's what I was trying to say. He'll be tired, and so by the second half, and that was his problem in Miami was they weren't using him a lot, utilizing him a lot, because he couldn't really be a 3-down back for 4 quarters for 16, 17 games. So I see what you're saying with it's a better value at having the handcuff if you know there's a high chance of that running back getting hurt.
Well, no, it's more I'm saying there's a high chance of that backup being successful. Just because you're getting the job doesn't mean you're high value. I think Donta Foreman could step into that role and put up a lot of yards and put up some good fantasy numbers if Lamar Miller goes down. He messed up by not getting Dante Foreman.
God, I hate these fucking baby cans. So tiny. Anyway.
Okay. Who are we on
we're
now?
on
AB?
AB, dude. Pookie with the Golden Tate Warriors. Sick name. Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, Dalvin Cook, Des Bryant, Brandon Cooks, Greg Olsen at tight end, Golden Tate in the flex, Falcons D, and Santos at the kicker. Do you think he has Jamal Charles on his bench? Do you think Jamal Charles is going to get injured in Denver? Or do you think he's going to have a good year?
I think that he's playing behind C.J. Anderson. I think it's C.J. Anderson's backfield.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not saying that Jamal Charles is strictly a handcuff type backup, but kind of, yeah. I'm not big on Jamal Charles at all. And really, now that I realize how thin his running backs are,
Haven't you drafted? Didn't you?
I drafted him last year in like the third round. And he barely played all year. When I see how thin his running backs are, I kind of wish I would ask for more back. Yeah. I kind of wish I'd asked for more back for Dalvin Cook. Like, he really, really needed Dalvin Cook. I mean, Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, here's why I told myself I was not going to draft Marshawn Lynch unless he slipped really late. They did an interview with him, and they asked him, like, oh, so you haven't played football in a couple years. Did you miss it?
Marshawn Lynch drafted 29th overall.
I would not burn a 29 overall.
3 years ago.
But anyways, they asked him, so did you miss football after not playing for 2 years? Without hesitation, he goes, nah, fam. And that does not inspire confidence in me.
Is he trolling? Like, you can't tell if is he being serious?
He sounded pretty serious. To be honest, like, he looked like he was being pretty genuine in that moment.
Well, he came back because he's from Oakland, and he, I guess, wanted to play for his hometown, home city. But even bigger question, do you think he got fined?
For saying he didn't miss football? Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Roger Goodell's like $20,000.
You missed us, you son of a bitch. Say you missed us! Yeah, no, I don't think he got fined for that. Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch... Russell Wilson and Ben Roethlisberger. I guess that's an adequate QB setup. Brandon Cooks, Des Bryant, Greg Olsen. He's got a solid team. He's just really thin at running back. He really, really needed Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
He really needed Dalvin
because
Cook.
He has Derrick Henry on his bench and Darren Sproles.
None of those guys are starters.
Charles, and none of those guys could be a flex.
No.
I mean, Dalvin Cook, is basically do you think Marshawn Lynch is an RB1?
No. He's like a low-end RB2 flex option.
Yeah.
And so is Dalvin Cook, kind of. I guess they are playing New Orleans this week. To me, Dalvin Cook in general, like season long, is sort of a middle tier, low end RB2, which is why my team was so stacked. I had 3, as far as I was concerned, top 20, top 25 running backs until I made that trade. And now there's a big drop off after my first 2 running backs. I got Hunt and I got Freeman, and then it's a big drop off. I used to have Cook, and it was nice. Where are you going to week 2? What's going on?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Are you the only one we haven't done yet?
Yeah, I'm left.
Okay. Now we're going to get to precisely why I
sure
think you boned yourself. Yeah. To take the Broncos defense, Steven Gostkowski, and Danny Amendola in the top 100 picks destroyed your bench. You have the worst bench in the league as a result of it. And you really have as a unit, probably the thinnest wide receiver core in the league, without a doubt. I mean, you have Antonio Brown, but after that, it's just such a major drop-off. Deshaun Jackson, Adam Thielen.
I'm pretty top-heavy as far as talent is. There's not much like middle ground. But my mentality this year was this: wide receiver 2 doesn't mean shit to me. I got Gurley and DeMarco Murray, and they're gonna get their carries. Matt Ryan, Antonio Brown, Jordan Reed, when healthy, is good. Christian McCaffrey's my lottery pick. Broncos D, so I don't have to worry about a defense every week. And Gostkowski, so I don't have to worry about a kicker every week. Now, as far as the bench is concerned, I have 2 handcuffs and Deontay Foreman and Charkandrick West.
But they're not handcuffs because you don't own the starter. They're lottery tickets.
Yeah, I was hoping that I could actually, because I actually draft in hopes of trade, if I don't get that trade in the first few weeks, then I'm going to drop these guys, or I'm going to find some sort of weight. I mean, I don't want to waste a roster spot for too long. And there's so much that happens in really the first 3 weeks that anybody on my bench is droppable. Yeah, I reached way too early for Danny Amendola. Because, I mean, shit, I had a few beers in me, and I kind of just does it shitty. I'll make a few bad picks every year, but I think as far as my starters are concerned, I have a solid starting roster.
You only got 7 top 100 picks. That makes it a bad draft. If after you're done with the draft, you can look at your players and say, I have 7 people in the top 100.
I think exactly.
That makes it a bad draft.
I think I'm exactly what the power rankings say. I'm middle of the road. I'm number 5. All right. I think that I have top players at every position.
Yeah, which is fine the first 5 weeks and the last couple weeks in the playoffs, but
well, maybe the really good players aren't known yet. So what does it matter what my bench looks like after a draft? Like, is anyone conscious during those last couple rounds?
But it's not the last couple rounds. It's like you don't have a wide receiver 2. Adam Thielen he's not a wide receiver 2. He's barely a flex option.
Dude, he makes a great team name more than a Thielen.
Deshaun Jackson is not a wide receiver 2. He's barely a flex option.
Sterling Shepard's barely a flex option.
He's not a flex option at all. He's a deep bench stash guy. So basically, if Antonio Brown goes down, you don't have any wide receivers. You're going to be starting guys that are expected to be at best in the top 30 or 40 every week.
Well, don't you think
as your starters?
There's so much depth in wide receiver. Like, let's say Deshaun Jackson gets a revival in his career in Tampa Bay with Jameis Winston. Let's say Sterling Shepard finally starts looking like he did at OU for the Giants. You know, can you kind of see?
Well, like, just pick a team at random. Like, just name someone in our league. Just name a person.
Okay, Piero.
Okay, Piero. Take a look at Piero's wide receivers as a unit. Jordy Nelson, Terrell Pryor Sr., Keenan Allen, Ted Ginn Jr. Wow, he doesn't have very many wide receivers, does he?
Not a lot of people.
Oh, no,
do.
wait. And he has Demaryius Thomas. Jordy Nelson, Terrell Pryor Sr., Demaryius Thomas, Keenan Allen. That's pretty deep. He's got 4 guys. If one of those guys goes down, I will gladly start Keenan Allen. I'll gladly start, maybe not Ted Ginn Jr., but he's got a lot of upside. I'll gladly start Demaryius Thomas.
Jackson.
No.
So does Sterling
Demaryius
Shepard.
Thomas is way better than Deshaun Jackson, that's his third. His third best wide receiver is better than your second best wide receiver, and that's true of just about every team. You can go to every team, and their third best wide receiver is better than your second best, almost every time.
Yeah, Adam Thielen was 103rd overall.
That's good value, but it's like. Still, and that's what happens.
We haven't even played
when
a game
when
yet.
you only have 7 top 100 picks. Like, you really bone yourself when you reach in the top 100 for a kicker, a defense, and you waste a 9th round pick on Danny Amendola. And I think that's going to kick you in the ass. I think you might have a decent start to the season, but once injuries start to become a factor and bye weeks become a factor, you're going to be scrambling to score 90 points a week. You're going to be really desperate, and you're going to be starting some really scrubby scrubs.
I disagree.
Of course you do.
So now let's move on to our
the injury report, right?
Yeah, we got an injury report now. Yeah. It's been a horrible preseason. So many big names going down this preseason. And so with a somber mind, we introduce you Dr. Tony.
Just Dr. Tony.
Just Dr. Tony.
Just Dr. Tony. That's it.
Andrew Luck will miss week 1 with an injury to his throwing shoulder. On a related note, Piero appears to have recovered from the temporary amnesia which caused him to not draft a backup. Jordan Reed is playing with an orthotic until his toe is 100%. A lot of people have been asking me about his concussion history, and the good news at this point is there's nothing to concuss. Medically speaking, his brain is jello. Kelsey missed practice due to swelling in his leg. Although he should be ready for week 1, sources close to the Patriots say Belichick has a game plan in place to re-aggravate the injury. Odell Beckham Jr. missed another practice with a sprained ankle and a broken haircut. After missing most of last season with a torn ACL, Danny Woodhead is struggling to recover from a nagging hamstring injury. Paul Summers has been put on concussion protocol after losing consciousness and auto-drafting the 32-year-old backup in the 8th round.
Thank you, Dr. Tony. That was it really pulled the heartstrings, but tragic.
I hope Odell Beckham Jr.'s haircut heals very soon.
Yeah. I mean, it does grow back, but slowly. So that being said, we're going to finish the show with B-Dub's bets, and he makes his predictions. I don't even know what he records on to film these things, but it's going to be interesting to say the least.
We should get the VHS in the mail in a couple days, so I wouldn't worry.
It's B-Dub's bets.
What the fuck's up, all you podcast league degenerates? If you're like me, you're rocking a big old fat chubby right now because the NFL is finally back, baby. And I'm ready to see this shit get locked, loaded, ready to roll. We're kicking it off with B-Dub's bets week 1. I'll be picking the winners. We're starting it off with the game of the week. We got Ty versus Slob, aka More Than a Thielen versus Freeman cost $1.05. And if y'all take the time to look at the lineups, then holy fucking shit. Tyler's team is stoked. I don't know if he kicked a baby puppy in the fucking head to make this happen, but he's got Matty Ice, he's got Murray, he's got Gurley, he's got Antonio Brown, he's got Denver D. What more do you fucking need? My prediction is that poor old Rob is going to be smoking a lot of AJ Green after this weekend out of his Paul percolator, and he's going to be Justin tucking his tail between his legs. Tyler's going to be talking mad shit, which will be entertaining for us, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Next up, we got Reagan versus AB, aka Golden Slate win. God damn it, Reagan. Come on, man. Pick a better name than that shit. And the Golden Tate Warriors. Des Bryant and Brandon Cooks are going to take this one to the house for AB. Honestly, you got 2 top 10 wideouts. Even though Reagan's got Tom Brady, I think that Michael Crabtree is going to give his fucking team crabs. And I don't know if Eric Decker knew you were going to play him in the flex this weekend, Bob. I think he might have been too busy popping his super hot wife, and you might want to give him more of a heads up next time. So I'm betting on Golden Tate Warriors to take this one. Simple as that. Third matchup this week is Team McDonald versus Team Kerrigan. And I hope that Jason Bourne breaks into both of your houses and Gito kicks you in the face for not fucking changing your team names. But this is the easiest one of the week. We got Preston, who somehow fucking lucked out, and he's got Le'Veon Bell and Ezekiel Elliott this weekend. That's all we need to know. Trenton's going to be DeAndre Hopkins his way right over to the fucking loser bracket this week. And that's a lock. Next up, we have Paul and Nambo, Team Summers versus Wanna Be a Baller. And do me a favor, guys, if you do see Paul Summers, please kick him square directly in the nuts for not changing his fucking team name. What a little bitch. That being said, I do think that Julio Jones and T.Y. Hilton are going to carry Team Summers to the win this week. And it also doesn't hurt that Nambo is leaving his flex spot blank in protest of corporate America not acknowledging global warming. So good job, computer that drafted for Paul. You could bring home the W this week. All right. And lastly, that leaves me and Piero, saved by Odell, versus the H-Time Dine. Now, in spite of Piero casting a voodoo hex on my team, causing Hurricane Irma to shove a Category 4 fist up my asshole, and making me bench Mike Evans, I still think I got the edge on him this week. Our running back situation looks a little bit better, mostly because he's playing Terrence West. Good luck with that, Piero. And also, out of courtesy, if you do want to hook me up with the address, I'll definitely mail you a complimentary bottle of lube to ease the pain. That concludes B-Dub's bets. Good luck, everybody, and I'll see you chicken fuckers next week. Peace.
All right, thanks, Beat Up. And that's your predictions, and that's the show. We'll be back next week with more of Ty and Slob, now in syndication.
That's it, all over. No, you can't have that time back in your life. But you spent it well. Thanks for listening to Ty and Slob, now in syndication. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Ty and Slob and like us on Facebook. Go to tyandslob.com for more.